Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.
Jai.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Namo
Vasudevaya.
Okay, on the behalf of ISKCON Chile Education Department, I welcome all of you to our weekly Krishna book classes. We have with us here Auntie Nita, Aja, Dadmelis, Divina, Ditya Adnani, Durga Prasad, Hari, Joli Nandwani, Kamala Nandini Mataji, Anjali Karnani. We have with us here Karuna, Makarena, Manju Nihalani, Meenakshi, N.C. Venkatchari, Priyanka Jha, Ritu Lalwani, Romi, Shailesh Latkar, Shantaram Latkar, Sheetal Latkar. Then we have Shivani, Shreya Kalaria. We have Shri Radhe Hari Devidasi Mataji. We have Swami, Upasna Dalai, and we have Vivansh. Okay. So what did we see in the previous class?
Delivering the wives of the Brahmanas.
Yes, we saw how Krishna gave mercy to the wives of the Brahmanas and also to the Brahmanas. No, he gave mercy to both of them. So we saw how the Gopas were hungry and they asked Krishna and Balaram to resolve it for them. And then Krishna sees that nearby some Brahmanas are doing yagyas. So he tells the Gopa friends to go and beg for some charity from them. But the Brahmanas, they did not want to give charity. And then Krishna told them to go to the wives of the Brahmanas who were pure devotees, and they gave up whatever they were doing and they went to see Krishna and Balaram. No? And then Krishna told them to go back now to their homes, to their husbands. And then the Brahmanas, they regretted their act, they repented their act, they condemned their so-called qualification. We discussed how they were Smarta Brahmanas. Smarta Brahmanas, actually Kali Yuga is full of Smarta Brahmanas. No, nobody understands the spirit behind the, not nobody, but most of them, a grand majority of them do not understand the spirit behind the rituals. No, it's only ritualistic. Smarta Brahmanas are very proud of their knowledge. They are very proud of being Brahmanas. There is no devotion in the heart. Only they know how to perform. They are experts in performing the rituals, but there is no bhakti in the heart. So we saw how they are called as Smarta Brahmanas. So because they were Smarta Brahmanas, they refused to give any charity. And then Shreya raised the question, why did they not give charity? Because one would give charity even otherwise, no? So then, as I shared in the group, I hope all of you have seen how actually indeed Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur did mention this in his commentary. Somehow I missed it. I did not, I read, but I did not read. So anyway, the answer is there in his commentary. He writes that the Brahmanas were thinking that they are superior, they are Brahmanas, and they have not eaten. So how come the Vaishyas or the or Balaram, who's a Kshatriya, can eat? No, so they are thinking that first we should eat. So therefore they refuse to give charity. This is a reason that is given to us by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay. So anyway, then eventually the Brahmanas were repentant. They regretted, and then they also realized that they have made a mistake. So like that, Krishna has given mercy to both the Brahmanas as well as to the Brahmana wives. Let me share my screen.
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned that Krishna has pardoned the Brahmanas and their wives. The Brahmanas, okay, we understand because they did not give the charity. But the Brahmanas' wives, they gave, and without the consent of their husbands, they left everything and they came to be with Krishna. No? So what was there to be pardoned for them?
Did I say pardon? Did I say pardon?
I don't know what was.
Anyway, if I said pardon, it's my mistake. What I wanted to say is Krishna gave mercy to both the wives
Mercy,
as well as the
sorry.
Brahman.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so today by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, we will be seeing this very nectarian pastime of Govardhana. No, today we will see chapter number 24 from the Krishna book titled Worshipping Govardhan Hill. Worshipping Govardhan Hill. So, this name Govardhan, what does this name Govardhan mean? Go means cows and go also means senses. And Vardhana also has two meanings. One meaning of Vardhana is nourishment. So when we say Govardhan, if we say go is cows and Vardhan means nourishment, means Govardhan is that place which nourishes the cows, because Govardhan has a lot of nice, fresh, soft green grass, and the cows are grazing there. Krishna and Balaram, they take the cows to Govardhan and they are getting their nourishment from Govardhan. And another meaning of go is senses, and Vardhana also means to increase. So Govardhan means that by residing in the foothills of Govardhan or by circumambulating Govardhan, what Govardhan does is all our senses are more inclined to perform eternal service to Krishna. So go increases our inclination, the inclination of our senses to render services to Krishna. So these are the two meanings of Govardhan. So in the Garga Samhita, it is described how actually Govardhan comes to this planet. No, it is described how Krishna in Golok, Krishna informs Srimati Radharani that now we have to appear on the earth, as it was time for them to perform their leelas in this material world. And that time Srimati Radharani replies that unless Vrajadham, unless Yamuna and unless Govardhan are not present there, she would not be happy. So then Krishna tells Srimati Radharani that don't worry, as Vrajadham as well as Govardhan as well as Yamuna, they have already appeared on the planet, on the earth. So therefore Govardhan is very, very dear to Srimati Radharani and to Krishna. Now there is this pastime also in the Garga Samhita where Pulatsya Muni curses Govardhan to reduce by the size of one mustard seed every single day. So it is described how Govardhan was several miles tall when it was in Goloka and when it came on this planet. But then it started to reduce in size because of the curse of Pulatsya Muni. And at the time of Krishna Leela, when Krishna, because this curse happened in Satya Yuga, and by the time Krishna was doing his pastimes in Dwapar Yuga on the planet Earth, that time Govardhan was 2 miles tall. And currently, at present, the length of Govardhan is 80 feet tall. Because every day it is the length of Govardhan is reducing by the size of one mustard seed. Now, what is this curse? Why did Pulatsya Muni curse Govardhan? Is a very fascinating story. But that is for your homework. It's there in the slides. When I share the slides in the group, you can read that story from the Garga Samhita. So this Govardhan is very, very important to Sri Krishna. And many great personalities, they perform Govardhan Parikrama. They go around Govardhan. Many of them go by foot. Many of them go, they offer Dandavat Pranams. And that's how they finish the circumambulation of Govardhan. Some of them who are not able to walk, then they go by carts. So anyway, even great personalities in the past, they have performed Govardhan Parikrama. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself performed Govardhan Parikrama. The 6 Goswamis performed Govardhan Parikrama. Then Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Narottam Das Thakur, Srivas Acharya, all of them have performed Govardhan Parikrama. So this Govardhan does not only have the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna and the Gopas and the Gopis and the cows, but also it has the dust of the lotus feet of all these great personalities, all these great acharyas. So Govardhan is very, very auspicious. Even Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, whom we mentioned so many times, even he resided near the Govardhan hill. Sanatan Goswami, he used to do Govardhan Parikrama every single day of his life. Every single day he would go around Govardhan Parikrama when he lived, of course, in that area. And even in his extreme old age, he would do Govardhan Parikrama. So it is said that in Vrindavan, there are 3 items that are specifically very, very powerful to purify the conditioned souls, to purify the hearts of the living entities. What are the 3 powerful things in Vrindavan? One is the dust of Raj. The second is river Yamuna, and third is the Govardhan hill. Govardhan hill. So therefore, Govardhan hill is very, very important. So let us see the pastime today. While engaged with the Brahmanas who were too much involved in the performance of Vedic sacrifices, Krishna and Balaram also saw that the cowherd men were preparing a similar sacrifice in order to pacify Indra, the king of heaven, who was responsible for supplying water. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, a devotee of Krishna has strong and firm faith in the understanding that if he is simply engaged in Krishna consciousness and Krishna's transcendental loving service, then he is free from all other obligations. A pure devotee of Lord Krishna doesn't have to perform any of the ritualistic functions enjoined in the Vedas, nor is he required to worship any demigods. Being a devotee of Lord Krishna, one is understood to have performed all kinds of Vedic rituals and all kinds of worship to the demigods. One does not develop devotional service for Krishna by performing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or worshipping the demigods, but it should be understood that one who is fully engaged in the service of the Lord has already fulfilled all Vedic injunctions. So this is a continuation. Here we see how uh, uh, after being engaged with the Brahmanas, now Krishna and Balaram, they are saying that the cowherd men were preparing for a yagya in order to pacify Lord Indra. Indra is the lord of rain, and the Vaishyas are agriculturists, so they want to pacify Indra, no, because he is responsible for the rains. And for an agriculturist, it's very important that it rains in the right time, in the right quantity. So they want to pacify Indra, they want to please him. So therefore, they are arranging for this yagya. In order to stop all such activities by his devotees, Krishna wanted to firmly establish exclusive devotional service during his presence in Vrindavan. Because he is the omniscient personality of Godhead, Krishna knew that the cowherd men were preparing for the Indra sacrifice, but as a matter of etiquette, he began to inquire with great honor and submission from elder personalities like Maharaj Nanda. So Krishna is omniscient. What does that word omniscient mean?
All knowing.
He knows everything, right? So he knows, it's not that he does not know why they are doing this yagya, but still, as a matter of etiquette and out of humility, he is inquiring from the elders and especially from his father. Krishna asked his father, my dear, and why does he do this? Because he wants to establish exclusive devotional service during his presence in Vrindavan. This is what Krishna wants. So let's see. Krishna asked his father, my dear father, what is this arrangement going on for a great sacrifice? What is the result of such a sacrifice and for whom is it meant? How is it performed? Will you kindly let me know? I am very eager to know this procedure, so please explain to me the purpose of this sacrifice. Upon this inquiry, his father, Nanda Maharaj, remained silent, thinking that his young boy would not be able to understand the intricacies of performing the yagya. Krishna, however, persisted. My dear father, for those who are liberal and saintly, there is no secrecy. They do not they do not think anyone to be a friend, an enemy, or a neutral party because they are always open to everyone. And even for those who are not so liberal, nothing should be kept secret from the family members and friends, although secrecy may be maintained for people who are inimical, for persons who are inimical. Therefore, you cannot keep any secrets from me. All persons are engaged in fruitive activities. Some know what these activities are and they know the result, and some execute activities without knowing the purpose or the result. A person who acts with full knowledge gets the full result. One who acts without knowledge does not get such a perfect result. Therefore, please let me know the purpose of the sacrifice if you are going to perform. Is it according to Vedic injunction or is it simply a popular ceremony? Kindly let me know in detail about the sacrifice. So Krishna is inquiring, what are you doing? And do you know why you are doing what you are doing? And initially Nanda Maharaj, he remained silent because he thought that Krishna is a young boy. Krishna is in his 8th year. He's completed 7 years. He's in his 8th year. And he's thinking that he would not able, this 7-year-old boy will not be able to understand about the yagya. See, yagyas in the previous yuga, they were great elaborate procedures. It was very, very opulent thing to perform a yagya. So he's thinking that he's not going to understand, but Krishna persisted. So what is Krishna's argument here? First of all, he's saying that saintly people, they don't maintain any secrecy because saints are open, no? Their lives are open books. They are fully open. They don't maintain any secrets. So a saintly person should not maintain secrets. And then Krishna is thinking that even now, because Nanda Maharaj may say that why are you calling me saintly? I am not such a great saint. After all, he's a grihastha and he's a Vaishya. No, Nanda Maharaj can argue like that I am a Grihastha, I am a Vaishya, I am not at the highest platform of being this great saintly person. So therefore Krishna is saying that even if one is not saintly, still one should not keep any secrets from family members and friends. And Krishna is saying that I am your family member, we have this intimate relationship, so therefore you should not keep any secrets from me. And then Krishna says that if you don't know if a person does anything without full knowledge, then the person will not get a perfect result. So he's saying, do you please tell me the purpose of the sacrifice that you are going to do? And is it according to Vedic injunction? So now Nanda Maharaj, because Krishna persisted, now he explains to Krishna what is going on. On hearing this inquiry from Krishna, Maharaj Nanda replied, my dear boy, this ceremonial performance is more or less traditional because rainfall is due to the mercy of King Indra and the clouds are his representatives, and because water is so important for our living, we must show some gratitude to the controller of this rainfall, Maharaj Indra. We are arranging therefore to pacify King Indra because he has very kindly sent us clouds to pour down a sufficient quantity of rain for successful agricultural activities. Water is very important. Without rainfall, we cannot farm or produce grain, and without grain, we cannot live. Therefore, rain is necessary for successful religious ceremonies, economic development, and ultimately liberation. So, we should not give up this traditional ceremonial function. If one gives it up, being influenced by lust, greed, or fear, then it does not look very good for him. So, of course, now Maharaj Nanda is saying that because he is giving us rain, which is so important for us, for our agriculture. Therefore, as a matter of gratitude, we want to do this yagya to please Lord Indra. After hearing this, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the presence of his father and all the elder cowherd men of Vrindavan, spoke in such a way as to make the heavenly king Indra very angry. He suggested that they forego the sacrifice. His reasons for discouraging the sacrifice performed to please Indra was twofold. First, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no need to worship the demigods for any material advancement. All results derived from worshipping the demigods are simply temporary, and only those who are less intelligent are interested in the temporary results. Second, whatever temporary result one derives from worshipping the demigods is actually granted by the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayaiva Vihitan Hitan. Whatever benefit is supposed to be derived from the demigods is actually bestowed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot bestow any benefit upon others. But sometimes the demigods become puffed up by the influence of material nature, thinking themselves all in all, they forget the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated that in this instance, Krishna wanted to make Indra angry. Krishna's advent was especially meant for the annihilation of the demons and protection of the devotees. King Indra was certainly a devotee, not a demon, but because he was puffed up, Krishna wanted to teach him a lesson. He first made Indra angry by stopping the Indra Puja, which had been arranged by the cowherd men in Vrindavan. So, very, very important paragraph, many points here. What Krishna wants to do, he wants to make Indra angry. Why Krishna wants to make Indra angry? Because Indra is a devotee, but now he has become puffed up. He has become proud of his position. And Krishna wants to cut down his pride. Why Krishna wants to cut down his pride? Not out of animosity, but because Krishna wants to give mercy to Indra. You know, in English, there is this proverb that says, pride comes before a fall. Pride comes before a fall. So Krishna is seeing that Indra is becoming proud, and therefore, out of mercy, Krishna wants to cut down his pride. And he wants to cut down his pride now. For that, what he is doing first is he is making Indra angry by stopping the sacrifice which is meant for King Indra. Now, see here, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no need to worship the demigods. Why? First of all results derived from worshipping the demigods are temporary, and only those who are less intelligent are interested in temporary results. So why is it that the demigods cannot give you something that is permanent? Is because they themselves are not permanent. The demigods, the devatas also undergo the cycle of birth and death. We already discussed how Brahma lives for 100 of his years, for by earthly calculation, we already calculated before, 311 trillion and 40 billion years. No, it may be a long period of time, but at the end of it, his life comes to an end. So because the devatas themselves are not permanent, it is a post, therefore they cannot give a benediction, a boon or blessing that is eternal. It will only last at best for this particular lifetime for us. So classic example is Hiranyakashipu. He did tapasya for so many years, but the boon that he got by doing so much tapasya, he was standing on one leg with his arms outstretched, his body was fully eaten by ants. Just imagine, no, so much of austerity he did to get that boon from Lord Brahma, that nobody will kill him, neither in the day nor in the night, nor inside the house, nor outside the house. Not by any weapon, not by any man, not by any animal like that. But eventually it hardly lasted. It lasted for a very short period, because eventually he was killed by Narsimadev. So this is the point that is being made here, that the boons that are given by demigods are temporary, and only a less intelligent person will seek something that is temporary. See, if somebody wants to make an investment, and the person tells you, okay, you invest in this scheme and you will get returns on the scheme only for 6 months, and after that you will not get any more returns. So you will say, no, but I want to invest in that scheme which will give me results for an extended period of time, or at least as long as I'm alive. No, we want to make such investments that will give us returns for long periods, not temporary results. So first point Krishna is making here is this. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says that first of all, they are temporary. And secondly, whatever the demigods give us, that is given only with the permission of Krishna. So Krishna has to sanction, only then the Devata can also give us a boon. So Krishna has to sanction it. The Devatas themselves cannot independently grant a boon. They cannot do that. Just like how one may have a bank account, we go to the cash counter and the cashier gives us the money only if the bank manager has allowed or permitted him to give that. So sometimes we may get more than what we have in our bank. No, sometimes we are allowed to draw more than what we have in account, or maybe we are getting a loan. But that cashier will give us that money only if the bank manager has sanctioned it. So the cashier independently cannot give us that money. So this is the point here, that the devatas themselves are not independent. Whatever boons they give also has to be sanctioned by Krishna. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised?
My question was that is it temporary because it is material? Because they can only grant material boons. That's why it's temporary, or
Yes,
how is it?
exactly. It's temporary because it is material. It's not eternal. We cannot take it to the next and next and next and next. Okay. See, so here Srila Prabhupada has written, it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. So now let us see where exactly in Bhagavad Gita it is written. So here, verse 7.19. Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate, Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. What Krishna is saying, after many, many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So first of all, one person who surrenders to Krishna is one rare soul in this universe. And that surrender to Krishna comes after many, many births. First of all, we have to understand the rarity of one who surrenders to Krishna. So Krishna is saying, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many, many births and deaths. Jnanavan, one person in knowledge, Ma Prapadyate, that one person, he surrenders unto me, and he comes to the understanding that Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, that Vasudev or Krishna, of course, Vasudeva is the name of Krishna, Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, knowing me to be the cause of all causes. He is Sarvam Iti. Everything comes or happens because of Krishna, because Krishna sanctions it. Sa Mahatma Sudurlava, such a great soul is very, very rare, Krishna is saying. So see in this picture, There is birth, then he's performing his duties, and then there is death. Nothing has happened. Then again he takes birth. This time he happens to hear a guru. There is some attraction, but he has not surrendered to the guru. Now, in the next lifetime, he actually surrenders to the guru. So, how does one surrender to Krishna? We use the term many times, surrender, no? But how do we surrender? We surrender by surrendering to a representative of Krishna. So, when one surrenders to Guru, then through surrender to the Guru, we are surrendering to Krishna. So, here he surrenders to the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, the representative of Krishna, and then eventually he, by the mercy of the Guru, this living entity is going back home, back to Godhead. Then in the next verse, what Krishna says, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. So in the previous verse, 7.19, Krishna spoke about how a great soul is one, that rare soul is one who surrenders unto me, Krishna is saying. And he does that after many, many births and death. But what about those who don't surrender to Krishna but are surrendering to the Devatas? So Krishna is talking about them here. He is saying, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. So material desires, when our intelligence, because intelligence is to seek that which can last eternally, no, but the intelligence has been stolen by material desires. Such people, they surrender unto the devatas and they follow the rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Now we know that Lord Brahma is in charge of the mode of passion. Lord Shiva is in charge of the mode of ignorance. So those who are in the mode of ignorance, they get more attracted to Lord Shiva. Those who are in the mode of passion, they get more attracted to the worship of Lord Brahma because they are in charge, no? These two personalities, they are in charge of those particular modes. So you see the Bhuta, Pretas, all these people, they are more attracted to the worship of Lord Shiva. That's why one of Lord Shiva's name is Bhutnath. Bhutnath. He is the protector of the ghosts and the spirits. So they are attracted to the worship of Lord Shiva because they are in the mode of ignorance. So this is what this line means. And demons like Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, they are all attracted to the worship. Of course, Ravan was more attracted to the worship of Lord Shiva, and Hiranyakashipu, he is attracted to the worship of Lord Brahma. But those who are in the mode of goodness or in the mode of transcendental goodness, then they are attracted to the worship of Lord Vishnu, Vishnu Tattva, Krishna, like that. Then what does Krishna say in 7.21? Krishna says, I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So now whoever is attracted to some particular devata, Krishna is saying, what does Krishna do? It is Krishna who makes the faith steady in the heart of that person so that that person can go and worship that particular devata. No. How does Krishna know that we are attracted to a particular devata? Is because Krishna is present in the heart of every living entity as the super soul, as you can see here. So what is Krishna saying? Because I am in the heart as the super soul, as soon as one desires to worship some devata, Krishna steadies the faith so that that person can devote himself to that particular devata. Krishna is not saying that he's going to punish you or he's going to incur his show his wrath on you because you're not worshiping me. It's not a competition here. Krishna is saying, okay, you're attracted to that person. I know that you are attracted to the worship of that devata. I am in your heart as a super soul, so I will make your faith steady so that you can worship that particular devata. Krishna is saying. Then what does Krishna say in 7.22? Endowed with such a faith, right? So that living entity has the faith to worship the demigod. Now Krishna is saying, endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. So when that person whose faith has been instilled in the heart to worship the devata by Krishna, then what does he do? He worships a particular demigod and obtains his desires. So his desires are fulfilled by worshipping the devata. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So this is what we read, no, in that Krishna book paragraph, that actually whatever benefits we are getting from devatas, that is also given only after Krishna sanctions it. And here is the evidence from Bhagavad Gita also. Krishna himself says, in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So you see how clearly Krishna is mentioning what is his position and what is the position of the other devatas in the Bhagavad Gita. See, sometimes people say, oh, ISKCON is a cult. ISKCON only promotes Krishna. ISKCON is biased towards Krishna. ISKCON says so many things, but ISKCON does not consider the other devatas. But you see, whatever ISKCON teaches is directly from the Shastras. We are only repeating what Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita. But not everybody understands that. So therefore, when you read Bhagavad Gita, then you will see why our acharyas teach us what they have taught us directly from the Shastra. And no other god has said what Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita. You will never see any devata saying that, oh, actually whatever benefits are given are actually bestowed by me alone. No other devata has said that. Only Krishna has said that. So there is Shastric evidence. So how does this work? Let's try to understand with this. So Krishna says that he is in the heart of every living entity. So he puts the faith in the heart of the living entity if he is attracted to worship a particular devata. So because Krishna instills the faith, so what are these two red dots here? The two red dots here are the soul and the super soul, Atma and the Paramatma. So Krishna is saying that he is a super soul. So he instills the living entity with the faith to worship that particular devata, whomever he is attracted to. And on the other side, he is giving the power and potency in that devata, because Krishna is present as the super soul, even in the hearts of the devatas, right up to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the first created living entity. He's in the topmost planet in the material world. So Krishna is there as a super soul in the heart of Lord Brahma also and all the devatas. So on one side, he is instilling the faith in the living entity to worship that devata, and on the other side, he is giving the devata that power and the potency, and he's sanctioning that the devata gives that blessing or the benediction or the desire to that particular living entity. So this is how Krishna works. And then this mortal is living entity thinks that, oh, I worship Lord Brahma and therefore I got this benediction from Lord Brahma. He doesn't know what is going on in the background. That it is Krishna who sanctioned that desire to be given to the living entity through Lord Brahma. Yaja, you have your hand raised.
Mataji, so the demigods are moreover similar like us, right? But in more good qualities.
Yeah, they are living entities like us. They are living entities like us. They are in the
Do-
material world like us, but they have far more powers and potencies because they have earned it, because they have done the karma so that they get the post of Lord Brahma. They have qualified themselves for that.
Again, that is not permanent. They can wear out any time the good karmas they did, and they can come back to the human form.
Yes, okay, now let's talk about Lord Brahma. Now, Lord Brahma is subject to birth and death. But what happens is Lord Brahma, when he's on Brahma Loka, he engages in meditation meditation on Krishna, and he also inspires those who are in Brahma Loka to do the same. So at the end of his lifetime, because he has that facility and he has the intelligence and he has the understanding, he has almost reached the spiritual world. No, he's almost there. So he perfects whatever is remaining, he perfects in a lifetime, and then he can go back home, back to Godhead at the end of his 100 years as Brahma. But if he does not do that, because there are millions of Brahmas, like they are all these universes are coming like bubbles in the ocean. That's how it is compared to the cosmic manifestation. So many Brahmas are rising and falling, being born and dying. So if a particular Brahma does not do that, then he has to come back to the planet Earth, like that. So it's the same thing for the Devatas are in Swarga Loka. Swarga Loka is a higher planetary system. So they have a lot of powers and potencies, and they have unlimited facility to enjoy their senses. They also have the intelligence, but because they have so much of opulence, therefore sometimes they forget that they are supposed to be engaging in devotional service to Krishna. Like in the case of Indra. Indra knows, but he has forgotten because of his pride.
So one more question. So do they also have pain and pleasure like us?
In the higher planetary system, there is only pleasure, there is no pain.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The pain is of birth and death.
But still Maya is also there. That's why Indra forgot, right?
Yes. Maya is there in the entire 14 planetary systems.
Oh, okay.
So the pain and pleasure is not like our pain and pleasure. Their pain and pleasure is birth and death is their pain and pleasure. The pain for them is that they have to meet death. That is their pain.
Oh, okay. No, sometimes when they have to, Krishna sanctioning all the prayers, sometimes, and they are the mediators, right? So if sometimes they cannot give and they want to, they will feel bad, right? I was thinking about that.
Yeah, but the thing is, if the living entity does the tapasya, he does that austerity, then the devatas also feel an obligation that because Hiranyakashipu did so much of tapasya, it's like he has qualified himself to receive a benediction from Lord Brahma. So therefore, the demigods, they feel obliged to give that blessing to that, like Brahma felt obliged to give the blessing to Hiranyakashipu because Hiranyakashipu did so much of tapasya. And because Lord Brahma is a devotee of Krishna, Krishna sanctions it. Krishna
Oh,
sanctions it not because Hiranyakashipu did the tapasya. Krishna sanctions it because Brahma wants it for Hiranyakashipu.
okay. Thank you, Mataji.
You're welcome. Shailesh, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I have two questions. One is that the demigods, now we know that Lord Brahma is in a mode of passion and Lord Shiva is in a mode of ignorance.
Wait,
So what
correction,
are these
correction.
demigods?
Wait. Brahma is not in the mode of passion. Brahma is in charge of the mode of passion.
In charge, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. And Shiva is in
So,
charge of the mode of ignorance.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, in which mode are these demigods? Are there in any mode?
The
Uh,
devatas, by and large, are in the mode of goodness. Sometimes they forget, and sometimes they may come under the control of different modes, lower modes. But by and large, they are in the mode of goodness.
and then the second, maybe it's not very related to this chapter per se, but then you put up an image of Lord Krishna. So I was just wanted to understand when you're supposed to picture Lord Krishna, how do you picture it? Because we have a description of Lord Vishnu, I think that we did in the first chapter, wherein we said that he has a gold colored satin cloth in the form of his dhoti, and then he has four hands, and he has a hair on his chest, and so on and so forth. So how do we how are we supposed to picture Krishna?
So, which form of the Lord you are attracted to? You have a natural attraction for
That would be uh, that would be Balkrishna.
Bal Krishna.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What's the problem? So you can picture Krishna as Bal Krishna. That is your natural instinct. That's your natural attraction. See, whatever
Is it
natural attraction we have is an indication of where we were originally, which part of the spiritual world we were originally present in. It can be not that it is always like that, but it can be an indication. So if you have a natural attraction to that form of Krishna, then you can meditate on that form. No problem.
okay? So there is no it's not that there is a particular form that you need to meditate on. It's not like that.
It can be any form of the Lord as long as it is Krishna or Vishnu Tattva, not a Devata.
Okay.
Because that Vishnu Tattva, if you are attracted to the Narayan form of the Lord, then you're heading for Vaikuntha planets. If you're attracted to the form of Krishna as a 16-year-old boy, him playing his pastimes with the Gopas and the Gopis, then you're headed for Goloka. Or even his pastimes with Mother Yashoda, you're heading for Goloka. If you're attracted to the pastimes of Krishna, where he was as a king in Dwarka in 16,108 palaces with the 16,108 wives, then you're heading to that part of Goloka, which is Dwarka. And if you're attracted to Lord Ramachandra, then also there is a Ayodhya in the spiritual world. And if you're attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is also one section of the spiritual world where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing his pastime. So it's okay as long as it is Vishnu Tattva, you are heading for the spiritual world.
So even though someone meditates on, let's say, Bhat Krishna, that's not wrong. It means it's not that you have to meditate on a certain form of Krishna.
No, you
Am
don't
I right?
have to meditate on a certain form of Krishna. As long as you're meditating on Krishna in any form, even Vishnu Tattva, Narsimha Dev, Vamana Dev, Varaha Dev, they are all Vishnu Tattvas. You are on the right track. You are heading for the spiritual world. Of course, your desire is that. Now, what you have to perfect is your qualification. You have to also deserve it. Okay?
Thank you.
Priyanka, you have your hand raised?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna.
I have one question that in Bhagavad Gita it is said that Krishna is saying that I make their faith steady, those who are attracted to demigods. So, why would Krishna want to make their faith steady instead of altering it?
Because Krishna is very merciful. He doesn't force a living entity. It's a faith, na? It is a natural attraction. It's a natural inclination. You cannot fake it. Um, you cannot force it. It cannot be done at gunpoint. Krishna is not this God who has a stick in the hand and he's there to punish you. He's very, very merciful. Krishna says, okay, if that's what you want, then this is what you get. But what happens is, if one is a sincere devotee of a Devata, then because the Devatas also are devotees of Krishna, they will guide you to Krishna. There are many devotees in ISKCON who have had, for example, many devotees would say the story that I was a firm believer of Lord Shiva, and then one day Lord Shiva appeared in my dreams and he directed me to go to meet such and such a devotee, go to this temple. So the Devata, if you are sincere worshipper of any demigod also, not for material sense gratification, but you are sincerely worshipping the Devata out of a natural attraction, then the Devata will guide you to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada tells a story of Sanatan Goswami and the touchstone. Actually, I was searching for that video on YouTube. It was previously there. I was not able to get it this time, but it's a very nice video, Prabhupada's voice. Prabhupada tells in that story how there was this worshipper of Lord Shiva, and he prayed to Lord Shiva that I want to have the greatest thing that exists. And Lord Shiva told him, you go to Sanatan Goswami, he will give you the greatest thing that exists. No? You must have heard that story. And then he goes to Sanatan Goswami, and Sanatan Goswami says, okay, you want the greatest thing, the most powerful thing. I have this touchstone. What is a touchstone? Anything you touch with a touchstone will turn into gold. So imagine what a powerful thing, no? You can become the most powerful man. So he says, okay, you can take the touchstone and you can have it. And then this man is very happy. He takes a touchstone, but actually that touchstone, Sanatan Goswami had it in his dustbin, in his garbage bin, in his trash. That touchstone was there. So he goes to take that touchstone and he's very happy. But then he says, "Wait a minute. If this is the most powerful thing, then how come he had it in the garbage? Surely he has something that is better than this." So he goes back to Sanatan Goswami and he says, "No, definitely you have something better than this." Then Sanatan Goswami says, now you are ready to actually receive the most powerful thing. And then what does he give him? He gives him the Maha Mantra. He gives him Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva directed him to Sanatan Goswami, who is a great Vaishnava who connected him to Krishna. So when one's faith, Krishna will make your faith steady in the demigod because it's a natural attraction, and that Devata, if you are sincere, will direct you to Krishna. Okay? Do you have any further questions?
Yes, but actually, initially I was thinking that how can Krishna be merciful by making the people steady in because it is actually the wrong direction as stated in Bhagavad Gita, because it is also given that this is for less intelligent people who are worshipping demigods. So, but now I actually understood that Krishna is being merciful because he wants to make steady so that in this way, by being sincere, he can also move on to Krishna also. Yeah.
Yes. And also, at least this person, if he's not placing his faith in Krishna, Krishna think, okay, at least he's placing a faith on a devata instead of placing his faith on engaging in demoniac activities. Like for example, if somebody wants a promotion and he's praying to a devata, at least that is better than playing some dirty politics in the office to get the promotion. At least he's praying to a devata to get the promotion. So something is better, that thing is better than playing dirty politics. It's better you go to a devata, and if you're sincere, then the devata will take you to Krishna, like that.
Thank you
Wendy,
much.
you have
Hare
your hand
Krishna.
raised? Hare Krishna, Wendy, ¿me escucha? Okay, Wendy, I don't know. She has a hand raised, but I cannot hear her.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you listen me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Ok, sí, con respecto a lo que estaba diciendo, Hare Krishna, lo siento, estaba ocupada con algo. Cuando usted dice que sí, que los semidioses nos envían directamente al Señor, realmente yo doy testimonio. Cuando estuve meditando en el Señor Shiva, yo estaba meditando en él y él me transportó a la refulgencia del Señor. Ahí fue cuando tuve mi encuentro, donde vi mi alma con el Señor y ahí fue que enlacé todo eso. Eso es real, eso es verdaderamente cierto.
Jai, muchas gracias. So I want to translate what Wendy says. Wendy is saying, from her own personal experience, she can say that she used to worship Lord Shiva and it was Lord Shiva who directed her to Krishna. So she's saying this is very, very true and she can confirm this from her own personal experience. So, muchas gracias, Wendy. Okay, let's go back to. Okay, so the demigods are not in competition with Krishna, they are in a progression to him. So you can see here different devatas are giving different blessings, but they are all doing this under Krishna's sanction. So there is no competition, they are in progression to Krishna. See, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see this verse. So actually, in the Mahabharata, what had happened is the Kauravas, they wanted to flatter Baladev, and they were thinking that they will create a misunderstanding between the two brothers, no, and they thought that Baladev is more favorable to the Kauravas, so they criticized Krishna, and they said actually Krishna does not deserve to be having all these royal paraphernalia, etc., etc. So that time when they spoke against Krishna, Baladev became very angry and he spoke this verse. So what does Baladev say? Baladev said, the dust of Krishna's lotus feet, which is the source of holiness for all places and pilgrimage, is worshipped by all the great demigods. The principal deities of all planets are engaged in his service, and they consider themselves most fortunate to take the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna on their crowns. Great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune and I, are simply parts of his spiritual identity, and we also carefully carry that dust on our heads. And still, Krishna is not fit to use the royal insignia or even sit on the royal throne. So, this is Balaram himself speaking that how all the great demigods they take the dust of the feet of Lord Krishna on their heads. And even Lord Shiva himself says, what Lord Shiva says, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Lord Shiva saying, I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudev in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, which is in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead known as Vasudev is revealed without any covering. So Krishna says that he is God. Even the great personalities like Balaram say that he is God. Even Lord Shiva is saying that he is Supreme Personality of God. Shiva is saying, I'm always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudev in pure Krishna consciousness. So it's not that ISKCON is biased or ISKCON is a cult. No, we are only repeating the words of the previous great personalities, including Lord Shiva, Balaram, and Krishna himself. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised.
What does this last line mean? Krishna consciousness is always pure of consciousness in which the supreme personality of Godhead known as Vasudeva is revealed without any covering. What does that mean?
Without any covering of Maya, without any covering of ignorance, pure covering, without any covering of mental speculation, no ifs and buts.
But then he has put a screen of Yoga Maya in front of everyone, right?
No, Krishna has put the curtain of Yoga Maya for his pure devotees in order to enhance the pastimes, enhance the intimacy between Krishna and his pure devotees. And the curtain of Mahamaya is for those people who are not sincere. But when we are sincere, then that curtain is lifted. Then there is purity, pure consciousness. Now our consciousness may be contaminated by so many factors, so many material desires, so many doubts we may have. Is Krishna really God? Did Krishna really say this? What we read in the Shastras, because there are so many people, I personally know people, they've been coming to the programs in my house for so many years, but still that faith is not there, that purity is still not there in the conscience, because it is the impurity we are carrying from so many different millions of lifetimes, so the cleaning process is on. So till the heart is not 100% clean, then that purity is not there. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita also we read this. There is more Shastric evidence. Lord Krishna alone is the supreme controller and all others are his servants. They dance as he makes them do so. Ekale Ishvara Krishna. Ekale Ishvara Krishna. Krishna alone is the supreme controller. Ara Sabha Bhratya. Everybody else are his servants. Bhratya means servants. No. Yare Yaiche Nachaye. However he makes you dance, they all dance like that. Se Taiche Kare Nritya. So everybody dances as Krishna makes them dance. More Shastric evidence, Krishna says, men of small intelligence worship the demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods. But my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So why the fruits are limited and temporary? Because they will ultimately, what's the best that they can get by worshipping a devata? They can go to the planet of that particular devata. But what's the problem there? It is temporary. Even the planets of the devatas are temporary. It is still the material world. But my devotees ultimately reach my planet, Krishna says, my supreme planet. So see in this picture, this person wants to worship, if you want a beautiful wife, you want a beautiful husband, then you worship Lord Shiva or Goddess Parvati. So they can go to the planet of Goddess Parvati. This person here, he wants good health, so he is worshipping the sun god, so he can go to the planet of the sun god. This person here, he wants knowledge, so he's worshipping Goddess Saraswati, so he can go to the planet of Goddess Saraswati. But then you stay here. But when you worship Krishna, Krishna's planet is beyond this material world, beyond all these other planetary systems where the devatas are residing. So after attaining means, okay, we can reach Krishna's planet, but then after that, what happens? Again, we can come down. So Krishna says, no, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. No. So after we have crossed all these and we go to Krishna Loka, then there is no more birth or death, no more old age, no more disease, no more suffering. Krishna is saying, so once you come to me, then you never return to this temporary world. See, Krishna describes this material world as Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukhalayam means it's a place full of miseries. See, in Hindi, the word alaya means place, like school is called as Pathshala. Pathshala, Alayam. So it is a place where the knowledge is given. So that's why school is called as Pathshala. A hospital is called as Chikitsalaya, Alayam of Chikitsa, a place where medicine or treatment is given. So Alayam means a place, a library is called as Pustakalaya, an Alayam where there are books, Pustak. So like that, material world, Krishna is calling as Dukhalayam. It's a place where there is only Dukha. It's a material, the material world is defined as Dukhalayam. Ashashvata means it is a temporary place. Ashashvatam, temporary. So this material world is defined as Dukhalayam, Ashashvatam by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is saying, once you come to me, then you never return to this Dukhalayam, Ashashvatam. And then Krishna says, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. Because there is birth and death, there is misery and there is dukkha. No? But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Okay, coming back to Krishna book. With this purpose in mind, Krishna began to talk as if he were an atheist, supporting the philosophy of Karma Mimamsa. So, Karma Mimamsa is an atheistic philosophy. They are atheists, but they believe in reincarnation. Basically, that is Karma Mimamsa. Advocates of this philosophy do not accept the supreme authority of the personality of Godhead. They put forward the argument that if anyone works nicely, the result is sure to come. Their opinion is that even if there is a God who gives man the result of his fruitive activities, there is no need to worship him because unless man works, he cannot bestow any good result. They say that instead of worshipping a demigod or god, people should give attention to their own duties, and thus the good result will surely come. Lord Krishna began to speak to his father according to these principles of Karma Mimamsa philosophy. My dear father, he said, I don't think you need to worship any demigod for the successful performance of your agricultural activities. Every living being is born present into his past karma and leaves this life simply taking the result of his present karma. Everyone is born in different types or species of life according to his past activities, and he gets his next birth according to the activities of this life. Different grades of material happiness and distress, comforts and disadvantages of life are different results of different kinds of activities from either the past or present life. So see, Krishna here, he is talking a atheistic philosophy. Now Krishna being God, he is talking an atheistic philosophy. It doesn't match, right? So our acharyas explain that what Krishna is saying here, these words should not be taken seriously. What Krishna is doing here is because he simply wants to discourage Nanda Maharaj and the residents of Vrindavan from doing that yagya for the pleasure of Lord Indra. And why he wants to do that? He wants to make Indra angry. Why he wants to make Indra angry? Because he wants to save Indra from his fall down because of his pride. Okay, so what Krishna is teaching here, we should not apply in our lives. It's a little strange to say that, but this is how our acharyas explain. This we do not take as a lesson. Okay, we don't take this seriously. So what is Krishna saying here? That everything depends on our karma. If you do good karma, anyway, you will definitely get the result. You don't have to worship devatas. You don't have to worship God in order to get the results. Everything depends. Everything is in your hands. It's in your control. So therefore, there is no need to worship anyone. And even if you have to worship someone, Krishna says, even if there is a God who gives man the result of his fruitive activities, he will only give that which we deserve. So anyway, we will get it. Therefore, there is no need. So on one side, he's saying everything depends on what you do. On the other side, he's saying even if there is a God who has to give you the results, he will anyway give it to you because you deserve it. So therefore, there is no need to worship any God, Krishna is saying. So this is the karma mimamsa philosophy that Krishna is speaking. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains, why did Krishna speak Karma Mimamsa? In order to show pastimes as a human being, Krishna spoke the philosophy known as Karma Vada or Karma Mimamsa to minimize the importance of the demigod. Karma Mimamsa is basically atheism with a belief in reincarnation. Lord Krishna minimized the importance of the demigods by speaking the philosophy known as Karma Vada or Karma Mimamsa, which basically is atheism with a belief in reincarnation. According to this philosophy, there are subtle laws of nature that reward or punish us according to how we act. As you sow, so shall you reap. In a future life, one reaps the fruit of his present work, and this is the sum and substance of reality. Lord Krishna, being God himself, could hardly be a serious proponent of this mediocre philosophy. In the role of a young boy, he was simply teasing his pure devotees by preaching it. Srila Jiva Goswami points out that Lord Krishna was thinking, why are these eternal associates of mine, appearing as my father and other relatives and friends, so caught up in the worship of Indra? Thus, although the Lord's main purpose was to take away the false pride of Indra, he also wanted to remind his eternal devotees that they need not divert their attention to other so-called gods, since in fact his devotees were already living with the supreme absolute truth, the Almighty God himself. So see, what is the argument that is presented by Krishna? Karma alone is sufficient to determine one's destiny. So how will you refute this? How will you say that this is not correct, this is not true? It's because we know that phala is equal to karma plus daiva plus kala. There are other factors. Only our karma will not give us the fruits. The Lord also has to sanction it. because there is nothing in the world that Krishna has to do. He is completely independent. No, he doesn't have to do anything. He has to sanction it out of his own mercy, and also there is a time period. So there are other factors. It's not that only karma will determine our what we get in return. It's one of the three factors, but not the only factor. Then another thing, Krishna says that even Ishvara depends on Krishna, because he said that God will give only what we deserve. So what is this? What we already discussed, that Krishna is Atmaram. He is self-satisfied and Purna, complete within himself. He does not depend on the work of the conditioned souls. So it's not that he can give us only if we deserve it. Sometimes Krishna can give us something even though we don't deserve it, out of his causeless mercy. And sometimes, even though we may deserve it, Krishna may decide not to give it to us, again out of his causeless mercy. For example, if somebody deserves a lot of opulence because of his past karma, Krishna may decide not to give him that opulence, because Krishna knows, if I give this guy opulence, he will go crazy, he will go mad, he will forget about me. And therefore, Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, will not give that opulence to that person. On the other hand, a person may not deserve any opulence. Maybe he has to live in complete poverty in a slum area. But Krishna may say, okay, here is a sincere devotee, and his desire is to have a nice, clean place where he can invite people to a nice program and he can preach the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So Krishna will say, okay, here is a sincere devotee. I will give him opulence. So because I know that he will use the opulence for the preaching services. So Krishna does not have to do anything. Okay. So this you can read when I share the slide in the group. But the point here is, in the Brahma Samhita, we see how everybody, right from the small germ called Indra, right up to Lord Brahma, everybody is in accordance with the chain of their previously performed activities. But Lord Govinda is that personality who can burn up to the roots. He can burn up to the roots all fruitive activities. So Krishna is that personality. Govinda is that personality who can burn all our past karmic actions and reactions right up to the root. Even what we have done quadrillion times before, everything can be burned down by Krishna. Coming back to Krishna book. Maharaj Nanda and the elderly families argued that without satisfying the predominating God, one cannot derive any good results simply by material activities. This is actually the fact. For example, it is sometimes found that in spite of first-class medical help and treatment by a first-class physician, a diseased person dies. It is concluded, therefore, that first-class medical treatment or the attempts of a first-class physician are not in themselves the cause for curing a patient. There must be the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, a fathers and mothers taking care of their children is not the cause of the children's comfort. Sometimes it is found that in spite of all care by the parents, the children go bad or succumb to death. Therefore, material causes are not sufficient for results. There must be the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nanda Maharaj therefore advocated that in order to get good results for agricultural activities, they must satisfy Indra, the superintending deity of the rain supply. Lord Krishna nullified this argument, saying that the demigods give results only to persons who have executed their prescribed duties. The demigods cannot give any results to the person who has not executed the prescribed duties. Therefore, demigods are dependent on the execution of duties and are not absolute in awarding good results to anyone. So, why should one care about them? So what is Krishna saying? The living entities are forced to reap the results of their own work. Indra cannot change their destiny, so why worship him? So how do you refute this argument of Krishna? The living entity always retain the freedom to choose a pious or impious activity in this life, and that will determine their enjoyment or suffering that comes up in the future. So what we are saying is that the living entities have their free will. They always have their free will, and in that free will they make their choices. Okay, for example, it may be in my destiny that I have to travel to America, but when I'm in America, I make moment to moment choices. I make moment to moment decisions. What am I going to do in that land? Am I going to engage in sinful activities, or am I going to continue my worship to Krishna. So I make moment-to-moment choices, and the moment-to-moment choices that I make there will determine my future, what is going to come up next. My dear father, Lord Krishna said, there is no need to worship the demigod Indra. Everyone has to achieve the result of his own work. We can actually see that one becomes busy according to the natural tendency of his work, and according to that natural tendency, all living entities, whether human beings or demigods, achieve their respective results. All living entities achieve higher or lower bodies and create enemies, friends, or neutral parties only because of their different kinds of work. One should be careful to discharge duties according to his natural instinct and not divert attention to the worship of various demigods. The demigods will be satisfied by proper execution of all duties, so there is no need to worship them. Let us rather perform our prescribed duties very nicely. Actually, one cannot be happy without executing his proper prescribed duties. One who does not, therefore, properly discharge his prescribed duties is compared to an unchaste wife. The proper prescribed duty of the Brahmanas is the study of the Vedas. The proper duty of the royal order, the Kshatriyas, is engagement in protection of the citizens. The proper duty of the Vaishya community is agriculture, trade, and protection of the cows. And the proper duty of the Shudras is service to the higher classes, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. We belong to the Vaishya community, and our proper duty is to farm, trade, agricultural produce, and protect cows, or to take to banking. So what is Krishna saying here? Now he's talking about the natural tendency of one's work. So Krishna's saying that one's conditioned nature is the supreme controller, because we have a certain nature, we have a natural tendency to do a particular work, and therefore that is the supreme controller. So then how do we refute this? Refutation is Swabhava is not as powerful as the Daiva or the Supreme Lord. So the Lord can, the sanction of Krishna is the most powerful. It is even more powerful than our natural tendencies. Krishna can overwrite the rules of the game for his devotee. So here Krishna is talking about the natural duties, the prescribed duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This he also describes in the Bhagavad Gita. But this section, you can read it when I share the slides in the group. What are the duties? What are the natural tendencies? Or what is the natural inclination of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras? So this we already discussed, how the Brahmanas are the heads of the society. So, and the Kshatriyas are the arms. The Vaishyas are the stomach. The stomach nourishes the body, the food that goes to the stomach, then it is digested and the nourishment goes to all parts of the body. So the Vaishyas, that's how they nourish, because they are business class, they keep the wealth rotating. So therefore they're compared to the stomach. So nourishment and producing is done here. So the Vaishyas are compared to the stomach, and the Shudras are compared to the legs, because the legs support the other three, and the Shudras, they give services to the other three classes. So basically, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas are Aryans. Aryans means they are more inclined to devotional service. The Shudras are non-Aryans. They are not so inclined to devotional service. The Shudras are not interested in learning. Their Shudras are, they don't go to the Gurukul because they don't want to. It's not that they are not sent to, but they don't want to. They do not have a natural inclination to study the scriptures. So they are the non-Aryans. While the other three, they do go to the Gurukul. Krishna identified himself with the Vaishya community because Nanda Maharaj was protecting many cows and Krishna was taking care of them. He enumerated 4 kinds of business engagements for the Vaishya community, namely agriculture, trade, protection of cows, and banking. Although the Vaishyas can take to any of these occupations, the men of Vrindavan were engaged primarily in the protection of cows. Krishna further explained to his father, this cosmic manifestation is going on under the influence of the 3 modes of material nature. So one more argument Krishna is giving why they should not worship Lord Indra. So now he's talking about the cosmic manifestation is going on under the influence of the 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. These 3 modes are the causes of creation, maintenance, and destruction. The cloud is caused by the action of the mode of passion. Therefore, it is the mode of passion which causes the rainfall. And after the rainfall, the living entity derives the result, success in agricultural work. What then has Indra to do with this affair? Even if you do not please Indra, what can he do? we do not derive any specific benefit from Indra. Even if he is there, he pours water on the ocean also, where there is no need of water. So he is pouring water on the ocean or on the land. It does not depend on our worshipping him. As far as we are concerned, we do not need to go to another city or village or foreign country. There are palatial buildings in the cities, and we are satisfied living in this forest of Vrindavan. Our specific relationship is with Govardhan Hill and Vrindavan forest and nothing more. I therefore request you, my dear father, to begin a sacrifice which will satisfy the local Brahmanas and Govardhan Hill, and let us have nothing to do with Indra. So what is Krishna speaking here is Sankhya Yoga. No, our acharyas explained that he is talking about, I'm sorry, not Sankhya Yoga, but the Sankhya philosophy. What is the Sankhya philosophy? Sankhya philosophy is the analytical study of the material world. So here he is analyzing that this cosmic manifestation is going on under the influence of the three modes, and how everything is going on under the influence of the three modes. So this is the Sankhya philosophy that Krishna is enumerating. Previously, he was talking the Mimamsa. Now he's talking Sankhya. Shailesh, you have your hand raised?
This I wanted to understand the mode of passion again. The cloud is caused by the action of the mode of passion. I didn't understand the context here.
Okay, so everything that is going on in the material world is either under the mode of goodness or the mode of passion or the mode of ignorance. So this mode of passion is that Lord Indra is working under the mode of passion. This material nature is going on under the three modes of material nature, and it's this whole thing of rain pouring down, because Indra is pouring down rain even on the area that is required, and also on areas where it is not required. So it is just out of passion. There is no calculation here. Krishna is saying where the rain is not required, even on the, does he say rocks, mountains? What does he say here? He's pouring water on the ocean or on the land. It does not depend on our worshipping him. Wait, where is that? Even if he is there, he pours water on the ocean also, where there is no need of water. So there is something that is just stemming out of his passion. He's just sending down the rains, instigated by passion, even where the rain is not required. For example, on the ocean, like that. So the ocean has not done austerities to please Lord Indra, and Indra is sending the rain. No, that's what Krishna is saying. Okay. Shivani, you have your hand raised or no?
Hare Krishna Mataji, what was the previous slide about?
That Krishna identified with the Vaishya community.
Okay, thank you.
See, in the purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 22, 10.24.22, we read, anticipating the possible objection that a livelihood based on cows certainly depends on Lord Indra, who supplies rain. Lord Krishna here introduces a mechanistic theory of existence known as atheistic Sankhya. So this we already discussed, how Krishna is talking the Sankhya philosophy here. The tendency to attribute exclusive causality to the apparently mechanistic functions of nature is an old tendency indeed. 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna referred to a doctrine already well known in human society. So this tendency is there even now in Kali Yuga, that everything happens. There is a material cause for everything. They do not want to recognize the hand of God. No, everything is mechanical. Rains coming down and everything else that is happening in this cosmic manifestation. The scientists say that there is a scientific reason for everything. They do not recognize the hand of God behind this. So this tendency is very old, and it is already been spoken of by Krishna even 5,000 years ago. So what is Krishna saying here? The modes of nature are the supreme controller. And how do we refute this? Because Krishna says that this divine energy of mine, consisting the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So the modes of nature are not the supreme controller, because God is the supreme controller. Because one can overcome even the three modes by surrendering unto Krishna. Krishna says, those who are surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So the modes of nature are not the supreme controller. Even they can be overcome. So basically here, we see here, Srila Vishwanath Thakur writes in his commentary that Krishna presented 6 theoretical points in this chapter. 1, Krishna said karma alone is sufficient to determine one's destiny. So we already explained how it's not only karma, there are other factors like daiva and kala. That one's conditioned nature, swabhava, is the supreme controller. That the modes of nature are the supreme controller. That the supreme lord is simply a dependent aspect of karma. That he is under the control of karma. That one's occupation is the actual worshipable deity. So all these statements that Krishna made should not be taken seriously. This is not Krishna's teaching for us. The reason why he's doing this is because he wants to crush the pride of Indra. Worshipping Govardhan hill. Coming back to our chapter 24. After hearing this statement by Krishna, Nanda Maharaj replied, "My dear boy, since you are asking, I shall arrange for a separate sacrifice for the local Brahmanas and Govardhan hill. But for the present, let me execute this sacrifice known as Indra Yagya." But Krishna replied, "My dear father, don't delay. The sacrifice you propose for Govardhan and local Brahmanas will take much time. Better take the arrangement and paraphernalia you have already made for Indra Yagya and immediately engage them to satisfy Govardhan hill and the local Brahmana." So Nanda Maharaj said, "Okay, we will worship Govardhan. First let us finish this Indra Yagya, then we will worship Govardhan also." But Krishna said, "No, all this what you have prepared for worshiping Lord Indra, use this itself immediately and worship Govardhan. Let there not be any delay," Krishna is saying. Maharaj Nanda finally relented. The cowherd men then inquired from Krishna how he wanted the yagya performed, and Krishna gave them the following instructions. Prepare very nice foods of all descriptions from the grain and ghee collected for the yagya. Prepare rice, dal, halwa, pakora, puri, and all kinds of milk preparations such as sweet rice, rabdi, sweet balls, sandesh, rasagula, and laddu, and invite the learned brahmanas who can chant the Vedic hymns and offer oblations to the fire. The brahmanas should be given all kinds of grain in charity. Then decorate all the cows and feed them well. After performing this, give money in charity to the brahmanas. As far as the lower animals are concerned, such as the dogs and the lower grades of people such as the chandalas or the fifth class of men who are considered untouchable, they also may be given sumptuous prasadam. After nice grasses have been given to the cows, the sacrifice known as Govardhan Puja may immediately begin. This sacrifice will very much satisfy me. So Krishna is telling them exactly how they should do this Govardhan Puja. And he's saying that the prasad should be given to all categories of people, brahmanas, dogs, chandalas, even the so-called people who are considered to be untouchables. So Krishna is saying everybody should be fed sumptuous prasadam. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised?
This line, after performing this, give money in charity to the Brahmanas. So, is Lord Krishna here doing a favor to the Brahmanas because their change of heart and their wives having served him?
No, he is making a general statement, give it to the Brahmanas. He's not specifically saying give it to those particular Brahmanas in that particular village. He's saying general because whenever you give charity, one should always give charity whenever there is any auspicious occasion. And the Brahmanas are going to be involved in the ceremony itself because they are going to perform the yagyas. So when a Brahmana does something for you, then you have to give the Brahmana some charity. So Krishna is saying give in charity to the Brahmanas. He's not saying
Second
that
thing,
particular Brahmana who were in that particular way because the Brahmanas from the previous chapter were in a they were not in the same village where Krishna was staying. It was in another village. It was within the Vraj area. Vraj has 12 forests and many villages. The main place where Krishna is staying is Vrindavan. So this was outside Vrindavan, but within Vraj area, these Brahmanas were of the previous chapter. He is not necessarily mentioning the same Brahmanas. Okay.
second thing is when we had begun the Krishna book, I think we had spoken and we had said something to the effect that when one gives charity, one has to be careful to whom the charity is given because you don't know what they'll do with the charity that you give them. So then, is this statement contradicting that, or Is it because it's prasadam, so it's different?
When we say charity, we are talking about giving money or raw food, which they can use in wrong purposes. But you can give prasad to anyone. Prasad, the cooked food, it's already offered to Krishna. That can be given to anyone. That's not a problem. So here he is talking about giving prasadam. All these animals, dogs, etc., should be given sumptuous prasadam, Krishna is saying.
So
Okay.
charity only to the brahmanas and
Charity to
prasadam
the
to everyone.
Brahmanas, to the Vaishnavas in the temple, to Krishna, in the service of Krishna, or to anybody who you know will definitely use it in the service of Krishna.
Okay, because here it is specifically saying after performing this, give money in charity to the brahmanas.
Yes, yes. Brahmanas are the topmost in the Varnashram system, they are the topmost. So therefore, Krishna mentions Brahmanas over and over again. But in the modern times, Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, in our temples, you can give charity. In this statement, Lord Krishna practically described the whole economy of the Vaishya community. In all communities in human society, including the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Chandalas, etc., and in the animal kingdom, including the cows, dogs, goats, etc., everyone has his part to play. Each is to work in cooperation for the total benefit of all society, which includes not only animate objects but also inanimate objects like hills and land. The Vaishya community is specifically responsible for the economic improvement of the society by producing grain, by giving protection to the cows, by transporting food when needed, and by banking and finance. From this statement, we learn also that although the cats and dogs, which have now become so important, are not to be neglected, cow protection is actually more important than protection of cats and dogs. Another hint we get from this statement is that the Chandalas or the untouchables are also not to be neglected by the higher classes and should be given necessary protection. Everyone is important, but some are directly responsible for the advancement of human society and some are only indirectly responsible. However, when Krishna consciousness is there, then everyone's total benefit is taken care of. So see here, yes, cats and dogs need to be protected, but cow protection is more important than protection of cats and dogs. So, but what are we doing now in Kali Yuga? We have brought the cats and dogs to our homes and we are killing the cow and feeding the cow flesh to the cats and dogs in our homes. Even though one may say, oh, but I am not killing the cow. I just go to the supermarket and I buy dog food. I buy cat food. But that cat food and dog food has the meat of the cow. So we are killing the cows and we are feeding the cow to the cats and the dogs. Unfortunately, has become our modern civilization. The sacrifice known as Govardhana Puja is observed in the Krishna conscious movement. Lord Chaitanya has recommended that since Krishna is worshipable, so his land, Vrindavan and Govardhan Hill, is also worshipable. To confirm this statement, Lord Krishna said that Govardhan Puja is as good as worship of him. From that day, Govardhan Puja has been going on and is known as Annakuta. So this is another name of our Govardhan festival, Annakut. Annakut festival also it is called. In all the temples of Vrindavan or outside of Vrindavan, huge quantities of food are prepared in this ceremony and are very sumptuously distributed to the local population. Sometimes the food is thrown to the crowds and they enjoy collecting it off the ground. From this, we can understand that prasadam offered to Krishna never becomes polluted or contaminated, even if it is thrown on the ground. The people therefore collect and eat it with great satisfaction. So see, this Govardhan Puja is celebrated even today in all over the world in ISKCON temples, especially. This is a grand festival. If you can make it, please go and be a part of the Govardhan Puja celebrations in your local temple. It's the next day, Diwali next day, we celebrate Govardhan Puja. So here in Chile also, in our ISKCON temple, we have a grand festival and they make this huge Govardhan mountain made of full of sweets. The whole mountain of Govardhan is made with sweets. They make sira and laddus and so many other mithais and sweets and all. And then they worship that as Govardhan. Even our ISKCON temple here in Chile, we celebrate. So if you can make it to your local temple on the next day of Diwali, which is Govardhan Puja, please do be a part of it.
So which day will it be?
Next day of Diwali. When is Diwali in India?
I think it's Tuesday, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, so
One day
next
Bhakti.
day of Diwali is always Govardhan because there is a 1 day difference sometimes. In for us here it is on Monday in Chile. I don't know when it is in India. You have to see your Vaishnava calendar.
So, here in Chile also it is celebrated on Tuesday.
It will definitely be said. They have not sent out the poster still,
Okay, thank you.
but they will send it out. Let me check my Vaishnava calendar here. No, for us in Chile, 22nd Wednesday it is showing as Govardhan Puja. So it will be done on
Okay.
Wednesday in our temple in Chile.
Thank you.
Shreya, you have your hand raised?
Yes, Mataji. So why is there no mention of celebration of Diwali for Krishna, for Dwapar Yuga? Because that Treta Yuga happened before that, right? So they must be also welcoming Lord Ram or anything.
There are some pastimes of Lord Ram mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. The pastimes of Lord Ramachandra is there. Where you're
Oh.
saying it's not mentioned in the Krishna book?
Yeah, I mean, Damodar Lila happened on the day of Diwali, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, but Krishna book is the commentary of 10th canto. 10th canto deals with the pastimes of Krishna, and there are other cantos that deal with the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra.
No, but why residents of Vrindavan are not celebrating Diwali?
Oh, for them, Krishna is their everything. For them is only Krishna. They know nothing and no one beyond Krishna, Shreya. For them, everything is Krishna. They are attracted to Krishna, just like Hanuman. Hanuman is attracted to Lord Ramachandra. Hanuman has no attraction for Krishna. Right. If you tell Hanuman, where do you want to go? You want to go to Goloka or you want to go to Ayodhya? Where does Hanuman want to go?
Ayodhya.
Yeah,
Ayodhya.
it's his natural tendency. No, he has a natural attraction for Lord Ram. So for Lord Ram, it is only Ramayana and the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. He's not attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. So for in Vrindavan, they are all attracted. For them, it's only Krishna and nobody else other than Krishna.
Yes, but like for them, Krishna is like their Lala, right? Like they don't know anything about that he is the Lord. So but they know Lord Ram as well, which happened like before Dwapar Yuga, right? So they should, I mean, I don't know why they're not celebrating that.
They worship Narayan as God. Yashoda
Yeah.
and all, they worship Narayan as God and they have a natural attraction for Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, thus advised the cowherd men to stop the Indra Yagya and begin the Govardhan Puja in order to chastise Indra, who was very much puffed up at being the supreme controller of the heavenly planets. The honest and simple cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, accepted Krishna's proposal and executed in detail everything he advised. They performed Govardhan worship and circumambulation of the hill. Following the inauguration of Govardhan Puja, people in Vrindavan still dress nicely and assemble near Govardhan Hill to offer worship and circumambulate the hill, leading their cows all around. According to the instruction of Lord Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men called in learned Brahmanas and began to worship Govardhan Hill by chanting Vedic hymns and offering prasadam. The inhabitants of Vrindavan assembled together, decorated their cows, and gave them grass. Keeping the cows in front, they began to circumambulate Govardhan Hill. The gopis dressed themselves very luxuriantly and sat in bull-driven carts, chanting the glories of Krishna's pastimes. The Brahmanas assembled there to act as priests for Govardhan Puja, offered their blessings to the cowherd men and their wives, the gopis. When everything was completed, Krishna assumed a great transcendental form and declared to the inhabitants of Vrindavan that he was himself Govardhan Hill in order to convince the devotees that Govardhan Hill and Krishna himself are identical. Then Krishna began to eat all the food offered there. The identity of Krishna and Govardhan Hill is still honored, and great devotees take rocks from Govardhan Hill and worship them exactly as they worship the deity of Krishna in the temples. The followers of the Krishna consciousness movement may therefore collect small rocks or pebbles from Govardhan Hill and worship them at home, because this worship is as good as deity worship. The form of Kṛṣṇa who began to eat the offerings was separately constituted, and Kṛṣṇa himself, along with the other inhabitants of Vrindavan, offered obeisances to the deity as well as Govardhan Hill. In offering obeisances to the huge form of Kṛṣṇa and Govardhan Hill, Kṛṣṇa declared, "Just see how Govardhan Hill has assumed this huge form and is favoring us by accepting all the offerings." Kṛṣṇa also declared at that meeting, "One who neglects the worship of Govardhan Puja, as I am personally conducting it, will not be happy. There are many snakes on Govardhan Hill, and persons neglecting the prescribed duty of Govardhan Puja will be bitten by these snakes and killed. In order to assure the good fortune of the cows and themselves, all people of Vrindavan near Govardhan must worship the hill as prescribed by me." So what has Kṛṣṇa done? He has assumed this huge transcendental form, and he's saying that this Govardhan and he are identical, and Kṛṣṇa in that form as the Govardhan, he has eaten all these offerings that these Brajavasis they have made in while doing that Govardhan puja. So Kṛṣṇa himself has eaten that, but that doesn't mean that that 7-year-old Kṛṣṇa is not there in front of their eyes anymore, because see this line here. Where did we see that? The form of Kṛṣṇa who began to eat the offerings was separately constituted. So Kṛṣṇa as that 7-year-old is there, and this he has taken another form. And this 7-year-old form of Kṛṣṇa is offering obeisances to that deity, which Kṛṣṇa, that other form of Kṛṣṇa which he has taken as the form of Govardhan Hill. Okay, this is what the slide means. The form of Kṛṣṇa who began to eat the offerings was separately constituted, and Kṛṣṇa himself, along with the other inhabitants of Vrindavan, offered obeisances to the deity as well as Govardhan Hill. Okay. Thus, performing the Govardhan Puja sacrifice, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan followed the instructions of Kṛṣṇa, the son of Vasudeva, and afterwards they returned to their respective homes. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 24th chapter of Kṛṣṇa, worshipping Govardhan Hill. So this form of Kṛṣṇa that he took here is in the first slide when we started the... Here, see, you can see this form. So Kṛṣṇa has taken this huge form and he's accepting all these offerings. And here you can see Kṛṣṇa in that form of a 7-year-old boy. So this Kṛṣṇa is here, and then Kṛṣṇa has also taken this particular form. Okay, so as I said in the beginning of the class, for your homework is this section from the Garga Samhita, which describes the birth of Giriraj Govardhan. Okay, this is Pulatsya Muni, the same Muni who cursed Govardhan to reduce by the size of one mustard seed every single day. Why this curse happened is here in these slides, which I will be sharing in the group, and you can read this as a part of your homework before the next class. On that note, we end today's chapter by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Do we have any questions or comments?
About atheism in your slides, the word you used was, I'm not sure, I don't have that anymore.
Karma Mimamsa.
Karma Mimamsa, that means those living beings that are atheists, they don't believe in, what is the entire clip for?
Atheist means they don't believe in the existence of God, but they do believe in reincarnation.
Okay, and then you use the same word as some Veda, some Ved, something V, starting from V, the same, in the same context, starting from V, a small word on the same.
From V, let me see.
Thanks.
So he spoke Karma Mimamsa, and he also spoke
Vada.
Sankhya. And Karma Mimamsa is also Karma Vada. Another name of Karma Mimamsa is Karma Vada. Is that the word you're looking for?
Yeah. Karma Vada, Karma Mimamsa. So
Yes.
Karma Mimamsa and Vada is the same thing, and it means that atheist people, right? They
Yes,
reincarnate.
atheists who believe in reincarnation.
Okay, all right.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, Mataji, I just wanted to share one thing. So recently I was listening to this podcast by Nityanand Charandas, and he was mentioning about a devotee. Uh, she was a lady, and she didn't do anything like, big preaching or anything like her entire life, but she was just following her services and going to the temple and very diligently. And then as she was giving up her body, um, her husband was there, and she was, by the mercy of Krishna, she was revealed her true form of where she was in Goloka. So she said, she mentioned that so he asked, like, who are you? And she was like, I'm just an assistant to Mother Yashoda. I pack lunch boxes, help pack Yashoda, pack lunch boxes for Krishna when he goes out to herd the cows. And then he was asking that, what kind of clothes do you wear? What kind of complexion? She was describing everything about her. And then she was like, how old are you? She's like 8 years old, when I was there. And then she also mentioned that when Krishna goes out to herd the cows, so her husband was like, then what do you do then after that? And she was like, I play with a ball. And then she was describing different colors of the ball she was playing with also. So, by the mercy of Krishna, like, so she didn't do anything big, but just following like small services diligently can, reveal your true form.
Dang,
Yes.
such a sweet pastime, really. It's so encouraging to hear such pastimes. Thank you so much, Rhea. So wonderful. So yes, we have to remain true and sincere, and with time, everything will be revealed to us. We have to have patience and determination, and we have to be constant. Thank you so much, Rhea. Okay, Priyanka, you have your hand raised?
Yes, Mataji. Actually, there is one statement in the book that Lord Krishna nullified this argument, saying that the demigods gave results only to persons who have executed their prescribed duty. So, what is the refutation to this? Is there any
Because if the
refutation?
demigod is empowered by Krishna, then the demigods can also give you more than what you're getting, but if Krishna sanctions it. This is how the cashier may allow you an overdraft facility, or a cashier can give you more money than what you have in your bank account if the bank manager allows. So, like that, if Krishna empowers, if Krishna sanctions, then the demigod can give you more, but if Krishna sanctions it.
But it is saying that the demigods gave results only to persons who have executed their duties.
Yeah, so the refutation is demigods can give you more than that if Krishna sanctions it. Usually the demigods can give you, see what is karma? Karma is I did something, so therefore my karma allows me to live in a palatial house, right? So the goddess of fortune may give me that much fortune, how much I deserve. But beyond that, the goddess of fortune can give me more wealth if Krishna wants to give me that more wealth. So he gives it through the goddess of fortune. So the demigods can give you more, of course, again, under the superintendence of Krishna.
Actually, I thought that those who are not even doing their prescribed duty, they also get the result. I thought this is the refutation.
No, doing their. Can you read that line again?
Demigods give results only to persons who have executed their prescribed duties.
Prescribed duties means, what do you mean by prescribed duties? A Brahmana has to do certain prescribed duties, so he gets something credited to, like for example, a Kshatriya, when he's doing his prescribed duty and he's killed on the battlefield, when he's doing his prescribed duty and he's killing, he may not take the karmic reaction for killing because he was killing as a Kshatriya. So because he did his duty as a Kshatriya, the demigod gives him some facility, right? But even if one does not do his prescribed duty, and the demigod can give you more than what you deserve, even if you did your prescribed duty or even if you don't do your prescribed duty, if Krishna decides to give it to you, and then he can give it to you through that devata. If we take the example of that bank manager, the bank manager can give you the money, how much you have in your bank account, right? For that, of course, the cashier, the bank manager, the cashier does not require special permission from the bank manager to give us the money that we have in our account. But still that bank manager is acting under the indication, the cashier is acting under the indication of the bank manager, right? But if it's a special case where we are drawing more money than what is in our account because of an overdraft facility, then he requires special permission from the bank manager. So the bank manager cannot give you. He can and he cannot give you also. Is it clear or
Yeah.
it's confusing?
Yeah, it is making sense that I think it is hard to understand, but it is making sense.
See, the point is when we do something like Hiranyakashipu, he did so much tapasya. So Lord Brahma, see the statements are there in the Shastra that the demigods, they feel obliged to give the benediction when they do a lot of tapasya. They feel obliged to give that benediction. Okay. So because that person has done tapasya, this demigod has to give that benediction to the demon. Now Brahma very well knew what is Hiranyakashipu's intention. He knew that he is going to create havoc after he gets that benediction. But Brahma felt obliged to give that benediction to Hiranyakashipu. But because he deserved it, he got it. Okay. But the point is the Devata can give even beyond what the person deserves, even if he doesn't do his prescribed duty, if Krishna sanctions it. The Devata can give it to you, even if it is not in your karma. But if Krishna decides to give it to you.
But in any way, Devta is giving whatever they deserve. But the argument is that Krishna is nullifying the argument that the demigod give result only to persons who have executed their prescribed duty. So the refutation sounds like those who are not even following the prescribed duty, they also get the result from the demigod.
Yeah, they will also get the results from the demigods again if Krishna so sanctions.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, are we ready for the exam? So today's exam is based on today's chapter as well as the homework from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There goes, you have the link in your chat. And here is your timer.
Mataji, can you resend it? I couldn't access it.
Okay. There it goes once more in your chat. Can you access it now?